Hello everybody! If you've been here before, welcome back. If you haven't been here before, welcome. I'm Debbie, if you haven't been here before, by the way. I completely royally messed up this beginning. Hello everybody, I am Debbie. Welcome to the channel. I today have listened to the audiobook of The Outsiders, which I listened to the musical very recently and just thought, I have never read the book. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's not really on the UK syllabus. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never heard of anybody in the UK who've actually studied this book. I think it's more of an American one. Yeah, it's by S.E. Hinton. She was encouraged to use her initials so that she wouldn't, so that more people would read it, which I think female writers still do that. I decided I wanted to read this book because I started listening to the musical and the soundtrack is amazing. It is so good. I actually watched the Broadway.com vlogs and then also the actress who plays Cherry on stage has her own YouTube channel, so I've been watching all of that. I've kind of become a little bit obsessed along as being obsessed with Death Becomes Her at the moment. That's basically all I'm thinking about, but I think it is very popular to be on the syllabus in America, even though it has been banned a few times because there's underage drinking and drugs and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, violence, yeah. So it was quite a short one to listen to. I think altogether, at a regular speed, let's put it onto a regular speed, it was 5 hours and 8 minutes, read by Jim Fife, and it's on Belinda Audio, but it wasn't available for me on BorrowBox, so I read this one through Apple Books, which I've never really used before, but now I have another app to read books on, so yeah. So let's get up the blurb for The Outsiders. Teenagers in small Oklahoma town have split into two gangs, divided by money, tastes and attitude. The soci's idea of having a good time is beating up greasers like Ponyboy Curtis. Ponyboy knows what to expect and knows he can count on his brothers and friends, until the night someone takes things too far and life is changed forever. So it's S.E. Hinton, also known as Susan Eloise Hinton. She was encouraged to use her initials rather than her feminine name, as to not ostracise a male audience. Yeah, I'm not aware of this being on a UK syllabus, so you can correct me if I'm wrong there, if there is anyone from the UK who has studied this. I did not become aware of this book until the musical, so yeah, I think it's more likely to be on an American syllabus, though I have seen that it was also banned for a period of time, and might still be banned in certain areas. I must admit, I loved the audiobook. I thought the voice of the audiobook was excellent, because it was read by Jim Fife, and I'm not familiar with Jim Fife, but it really taps into that young teenage boy. I will say, if you have not listened to the musical of The Outsiders, it's so good. It's got like a real folksy kind of feel to it, so yeah. It was published in 1967, and S.E. Hinton was like 14, 15 when she wrote it. She began writing it when she was 15, wrote the bulk of it when she was 16 and a junior in high school, and then she was 18 when the book was published. And she released the work using her initials rather than her feminine given name, Susan Eloise, so that her gender would not lead male book reviewers to dismiss the work. I feel so sorry for you, Susan Eloise, having to do that, but it's a thing that people still do. I mean, the author of the Harry Potter books did it as well. Yeah, and there was also a film adaptation of it in 1983, which I have never watched, because there was obviously the musical adaptation, which premiered in San Diego in 23, and then in Broadway on 24. I think it won Best Musical, didn't it? I think last year it kind of swept the Tony Awards, so. And this year we have Death Becomes Her. Yay! But apparently there was going to be another film adaptation of the musical, which is interesting. But yeah, it's completely narrated by Ponyboy Curtis, and at first I was like, is that a nickname? I was like, no, his parents named him Ponyboy. His brothers are Daryl and Soda Pop. Daryl is the oldest. So it's just like they went for Daryl for the oldest and then went, let's do something a bit different for the other kids. So you got Soda Pop, who's also referred to as Soda, and Ponyboy, who is Ponyboy. And he's 14 years old for the book, and it's all told from his point of view. And there's a moment of bringing everything back to the beginning at the end. But yeah, you've got his friends, which include Johnny, Dally, also known as Dallas, and then Keith, which is 2-bit, and Steve, and then you've also got other characters including like Timothy, Tim, Curly and Sandy. And then there's Sherry. Her name is Sherry, but she's nicknamed Cherry, who is Bob's girlfriend, and Bob is the leader of the Socials. I kept wanting to call them socks when I first saw it written down, but it's Socials because it's for socials. Yeah. It's getting into that mindset of it all. But apparently it was controversial at the time of its publication, and it's still currently challenged and debated in the US. It's ranked number 38 on the American Library Association's top 100 most frequently challenged books of 1990 to 1999. Why the 90s? It's been banned from schools and libraries because of its portrayal of gang violence, underage smoking, drinking, strong language, and family dysfunction. But yeah, it's literally just a story from the point of view of Ponyboy about two, essentially, gangs. It feels a bit West Side Story in a way. I mean, Ponyboy, it says he's 14, but he almost felt a bit younger as I was listening to it. It says like he gets good grades, he runs track, he likes reading and stuff, but he's also very sensitive. And I think that leans into him reading a little bit younger than that. But it's these, when these gangs kind of gang up on each other, that's when things go wrong. Somebody dies, Ponyboy goes on the run, it's just... Because it felt like such a short book, I don't really want to say too much versus what the blurb says. But yeah, it's ultimately a story of coming of age and kind of finding yourself while also being just a teenager. And that the teenage experience, even when you put time in the middle of it, everybody still has fairly similar stories as to growing up. It doesn't matter the time or the technology and all that kind of stuff. There are some teenage issues which stand the test of time. And in this case, there are times when it's just like, this could be now. It still could be now. In regards to like the gang violence, it's interesting seeing the relationship of Ponyboy with his brother, Soda and Darry. You find out that their parents died, and Darry, being the oldest brother, kind of just has become the parent of the group, of the family, and he looks after Ponyboy and Soda, because yeah, Ponyboy's 14 and Soda is 16. Yeah, their parents died in a car crash, so he's kind of just self-anointed himself as Darry, as being like the carer. But yeah, it is a very powerful book. As I said, I really enjoyed the narration of the audiobook. Maybe it would have been different if I was a boy listening to it, I don't know. Yeah, I just thought it was a very powerful book. I can understand why America would ban it. To be fair, in this day and age, I think there's a lot of ideas of like what is acceptable to be teaching in schools, and I'm just like, yeah, but banning books isn't the answer. There's still stuff that we can learn from, and ignoring that is just stupid. But yeah, just listening to it, reading it, it was just like, this feels like it really could be any time. It's issues that we still deal with, that teenagers still deal with. It can be political if you want to read it that way, but you can also just read it as being from the point of view of a young teenager trying to figure stuff out in the midst of gang rivalry. Yeah, I think that's just the best way to put it, really. But yeah, it's a very good book. It was very difficult to track down, actually, because I was just there thinking, because I couldn't really find an ebook of it. I was looking around and couldn't find one. And then Apple Books brought up the audiobook, but the ebook was in a different language, and it was just like, this is not the time to learn a new language, Debs. So I was just trying to find out, yeah. Because the other option was obviously to like buy the book. But as somebody who reads a lot on my phone and my iPad, just like, if I can find an e-version, that would be great. So when I saw the audiobook popped up, it was just like, oh, that would be a nice one to listen to on my lunch breaks at work. So yeah, it took I think I listened to it over about 3 lunch breaks, because at that point I was walking for like half an hour and then going to have lunch. And so when I had lunch, I was like, do I want to listen to an audiobook, or do I want to read the other books that I'm reading at that point? So yeah, that was the cover I've got for it. But yeah, I very much enjoyed it. So I do recommend to any Brit who's not aware of it to probably read it and then listen to the musical soundtrack, because I started listening to the musical soundtrack and it was like, I don't want to finish listening to the soundtrack until I have read it, and so I understand exactly what's going on. That's the thing about listening to musicals. If you don't know the story, you don't know the context in which those songs are being sung. So yeah, it was nice to listen to the book and then finish off, because I think I listened to the first couple of songs of the soundtrack and was just like, I need to find out what the hell's going on. So yeah, so then I found the audiobook and then I went back to the musical. But yeah, so basically I am literally going between The Outsiders and Death Becomes Her, cast recordings at the moment. And I'm very much enjoying it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. I will let you know that if you are here for the moving vlogs, big things are happening. I've been to the flat today and my kitchen is going in. It looks so good. Yeah, again, just thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already, and I will see you next time with another video. Stay safe, everybody. I love you all. Goodbye.